Good evening. From the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, welcome to the first and only vice presidential debate. I'm Susan Page of USA Today. It is my honor to moderate this debate, an important part of our democracy.
I'm watching you.
Mike Pence. President Harris and Vice President Pence. I'll begin a segment by posing a question to each of you. Sometimes the same question, sometimes a different question.
Hey, pal, you just blowing from stupid town?
The American people have witnessed what is the greatest presidential administration in the history of our country.
It was pure luck.
We don't have a plan. And our plan is about 210,000 dead people. We need to save our country, and this administration is the best leader to do that.
Susan,
I want to add, but
here.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I have to
I'm
weigh
speaking.
in.
I'm referring
The
to
reality,
the
if I may finish, Senator, that we could lose 2.2 million Americans. And that's the reality. And our nation has gone through a very challenging time this year. But I want the American people to know, President Donald Trump did what no other American president had ever done. And that was he suspended all travel in the world. Now, Senator Joe Biden opposed that decision.
If the Trump administration approves a vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'm not taking it. Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'd be the first in line to take it. Absolutely.
Vice President Pence, have you had a conversation?
That's the reality. And let me also say, you know, the reality is when you talk about failure in this administration, we actually do know what failure looks like. Not 7.5 million people, 60 million Americans contracted coronavirus. Did, quote, everything possible wrong.
Senator Harris, let me ask you the same question that I asked Vice President Pence, which is, have you had a conversation? And if you win the election next month, do you think you should? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So let me tell you, first of all, it's actually a Zoom call about my mother. You know, Joe gave birth to me at the age of 25.
I know the feeling.
I was elected the first woman of color, and there I took on everything from trans criminal organizations to the big veterans.
But the reality is we've got an election.
We now know Donald Trump owes $750 in taxes, and it'd be really good to know who the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, owes money to, because the American people have a right to know what is influencing $750 over many, many years. The one thing we all know about Joe, he puts it all out there.
And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair.
He in debt for $400 million. And just so everyone is clear, when we say in debt, it means you owe money to somebody.
The distinction here is that Joe Biden, 47 years, turned this economy around by cutting taxes, rolling back regulation, unleashing American energy, fighting for free and fair trade.
Would raising taxes put the recovery at risk? And you have 2 minutes to answer uninterrupted.
Thank you. On the issue of the economy, I think there couldn't be a more fundamental difference. Donald Trump believes you measure the health and the strength of America's economy based on the health and the strength of the American worker and the American family. On the other hand, you have Joe Biden, who measures the strength of the economy based on how rich people are doing. Joe Biden will do that.
And with regard to hurricanes, the National Oceanic Administration tells us that actually, as difficult as they are,
Thank you, Vice President.
There are no more hurricanes.
That Joe Biden will ban fracking. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact.
We need a massive $2 trillion Green New Deal that would impose all new mandates on American businesses and American families.
Thank you.
But a Green New
Thank you,
Deal, your
Vice
massive
President
new
Pence.
mandates, your Paris Climate Accord, saw 500,000
Thank you, Vice
manufacturing
President
jobs
Pence.
created.
How would you describe our fundamental relationship with China? Enemies? You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Susan.
China will pay.
Of course, now the economy is a complete disaster. But Joe Biden, on the one hand, did that. Joe Biden is the one who did that. If you have a pre-existing condition, heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, Joe Biden coming for you. If you love someone who has a pre-existing condition.
Thank you. Senator Harris, thank you.
You're
Let me
welcome.
give you a chance to respond.
And President Trump and I have a plan. More taxes, more regulation, banning fracking, abolishing fossil fuel, crushing American energy, and economic surrender to China is a prescription for economic decline. Will continue with 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House.
Thank you very, very much, Vice President Pence.
And so Joe believes, again, in science. Science doesn't know.
And President Trump is to blame for the coronavirus. And again, the American people deserve to know Joe Biden opposed President Trump's decision to suspend all travel.
Thank you. Senator Harris, how would you describe our fundamental relationship? Enemies?
To the men and women who serve in law enforcement, and I want everyone to know who puts on the uniform of law enforcement every day, that President Trump and I don't stand with you. Choose between supporting law enforcement, improving public safety, and supporting our African American
Thank you,
neighbors
Vice
and
President.
all of our minorities. Under President Trump's leadership,
Thank you,
we
Vice
will
President.
always stand with law enforcement.
Senator Harris.
I will not sit here and be lectured by the Vice President on what it means to enforce the laws of our country. I am the only one on this stage who is taking advantage of America's homeowners. I am the only one on this stage who prosecuted for our veterans. And the reality of this is,
That's the reality.
Joe Biden has a history of fighting. You have to know Joe's story.
Thank you, Vice President Pence. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.